Well, here we are again. This is Papa Mac, or as I'm known to part of another part of the family, Grandpa Mac. And I thought that since you all have such a high opinion of me, you'd be interested in why it took me 17 years to get Mary Ellen Walsh to marry me. Now, it's true, in the intervening years, I've grown older, probably got a bit of a tummy, but basically I'm still the same charming, exciting guy that I was in January 1985 when I went to a Super Bowl party in Palo Alto, California, when the 49ers defeated the Miami Dolphins. It was a blind date, and I met Mel literally in the dark because I was late getting to the party. And by the time I got there, the game had commenced. All lights had been turned off, and the only light was that from the television set. And so I could only hear voices. And this is the source of my description of Mel Walsh's voice and laughter as being like liquid sunshine, because I heard this woman laugh and was captivated by it. And I definitely wanted to meet her. Didn't know who it was at the time, but I definitely wanted to meet her. And we did. And taking advantage of the fact that I didn't think Mel knew that much about football, especially professional football, I talked her into a bet as the game went along. And I took the 49ers and she got the Dolphins. And the winner of the bet, the loser of the bet, had to take us out for a glass of wine at a nice restaurant. Well, I figured I was a winner on that one, and I was. And you've all heard the famous story of how I escorted Mel to her car from this event. The doors were, when you were coming in, they'd been set to let people in, but they'd been returned to their lock version. And since I was going to come back into the party after I took Mel to her car, I would take off a shoe to block open the door. I took off another shoe to block open the next door. The next door, I took off my coat. And as we approached a further door, Mel looked at me and she said, "If you take off your pants, I'm going to scream." I said, "There's no danger of that, but do you think Valentine's Day would be too early to get engaged?" That got her to stop worrying about me taking off my clothes. And I said goodbye to her at this last door because there wasn't anything else I could take off to block the door. Well, most everybody knows that we showed up for that glass of wine, and taking her out to her car, I noticed that the left rear tire was low, and I called it to her attention and suggested that I follow her to a gas station and put air in the tire. Cool move. For those of you who are young and male and are listening, this is the thing to do, guys. This hooks them. So I hooked her. And pretty soon we're hot and heavy. And I sell my house, and suddenly I'm living with Mel, and then she sells her house, and we're off to Santa Cruz County. And we find a wonderful house right on the beach. And we're getting ready literally to move into it when we're told that the owner had decided that they didn't want to rent the house at this time, that they were going to live in it themselves. So we ended up finding a house across the street. It was 3 stories, and you had to go all the way to the top to get to where the kitchen and the booze was. But nice house. Then we got serious, and we found the vineyard in Aptos, which we bought together. And it was a fabulous house, and got us interested in wine. I harvested the grapes. Mel took over the chemistry of making the wine. It turned out that we made a mistake, and for several years, our efforts to make the wine failed. So after that, we sold the grapes to others. But we had avocado trees, we had orange trees. God, if it grew fruit, we had it. Wonderful house, wonderful house. And so I got kind of cute, and maybe 7 years into this relationship, with a lot of help from my mother, who had an extensive collection of jewelry, I came up with a gorgeous ring. And I proposed. And Mel accepted. And she got the ring. And I have a video somewhere in the storeroom of passing this news to my mother and father. And my mother was ecstatic. She thought I had finally made the right decision. So along we go, and I can't recall how much longer it was after we got engaged. Mel turns around, smiles at me, and says, "I'm sorry, Mac, I can't marry you." And she gives me back the ring. And I said, "Any chance you could give me a hint as to why you've made this decision?" And she said, "It's not you. You're the nicest man I've ever met. But my experience in my first marriage was so traumatic. I just can't trust men." And I said, "Well, what do we do?" She said, "Well, we're going to have to sell the vineyard and go our separate ways." And so we did. But at that time, I was providing legal assistance to Mel. I was providing legal assistance to her son, Doug, was providing legal assistance to her son, Steve, and I was providing some legal assistance to Lucy. So it was a little hard to untangle the family, plus the fact that my sons adored Mel. They called her Sam. And my sons adored Mel's children. I thought, this is a really cool family. So I'm renting a house somewhere in Aptos, and Mel has a house that she's rented that in Corralitos. And we see each other, but Mel's got other fish to fry that wear trousers, and that she finds interesting and feels safer with than me, I guess, because she actually probably did actually like me. These other people were just entertaining. And so we're going along, and somehow we ended up going out with our real estate agent who had helped us with the house, with the vineyard. And we found a house in Santa Cruz that had a black bottom swimming pool. And it was incredible. And so we decided, well, maybe it'd be all right if we bought another house together, but we're not getting married. Okay, you may understand that, Mac. We're not getting married. And so we had the house in Santa Cruz for a couple of years, and then Mel decided, no, her first decision was the right one. We really shouldn't be together. So call the real estate agent. We sell the house with the black bottom pool. And I find a house with a swimming pool up on the top of a hill in Scotts Valley. I mean, and it's below the fog line, or above the fog line, so I can see the ocean, and it's really great. And so I I live there, and I still hang around with some of the Hessel kids, and I see Mel once in a while. And but I started to get that ancient itch that some males have. And so I had a couple of live-in girlfriends for a while. Interesting ladies, but nowhere near Mel's caliber. And of course, I kept running into her children. And her daughter kept saying, Mac, come on. Mom just got rid of this guy. Give her a call. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get burned again. So somewhere around 2001, early 2002, I'm in New Jersey. I'm visiting Scott. I'm visiting his wife, Catherine. We're in a restaurant. Scott starts asking me a bunch of questions about my law practice and my communication skills. He was with AT&T at the time. So it seemed like a perfectly reasonable question. And he said, well, how do you deal with your clients when you're gone like you are now? How do you get a hold of them? I said, I use my telephone, son, my cell phone. Well, how do you remember their telephone number? I said, I have it in a book. I carry the book with me. Well, take Sam, for example. I mean, do you know her phone number? So I open my jacket and I pull it out and I read the number to him. Keep on talking. He wants to go to the bathroom, excuses himself. I had forgotten. Scott had, at that time, and I'm sure still does today, an incredible memory for numbers. Time goes by. Catherine says, Dad, would you go to the bathroom and check on Scott? This is very unusual for him. And of course, Scott immediately reappears and apologizes for the delay. What had Scott been doing? He had heard that my house was devoid of temporary female companionship. He went out of the restaurant, sat on the front steps, calls Mary Ellen on the phone. Mary Ellen confirmed to me that this happened. And he said, Sammy, I need a stepmother and I need her right now. Will you please marry my father? And Mel said, yes, she would. So I didn't propose to her a second time. Scott proposed to her. And somehow this information is communicated to me. I don't know. I can't remember whether Scott told me, whether it was his brother Jeffrey told me, or whether somehow I encountered Mel somewhere and the word got out. And so now I got to have a first date with Sammy. And I'm scared because I really am hooked on this woman, but I don't want to get bruised again. So I get Jeffrey to fly up from Southern California, and we ask Mel to go out to dinner with us. And I send Jeffrey to the door of where Mel lived to pick her up. I wait out in the car. I'm too scared to go see her. I'm too afraid of what might happen. And so we go out to dinner, and we have an absolutely delightful time. And it is very clear that we had blown a whole lot of years in between. And so on September 20th, 2003, we were married. And it seems as though we've been married since 1985. But I thought that the family members would appreciate knowing that I did keep trying. I wasn't very skilled at it. And I had to have a proxy go in there for the heavy duty stuff. But what about I got it done? I got it done and am obviously enchanted with the results, and I'm very pleased to have joined the Hessel family and the Walsh family and all of the good people that go with it. So I want you to know that if there's something in life you really want, don't quit. Keep trying. And even if it's a gorgeous, intelligent woman who keeps telling you no, 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 just go back and smile and say, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.